Today in the Fresh Brew Run Club, my 300-mile review of the Nike Vomero 18. Welcome to the Fresh Brew Run Club. My name is Aaron, and today I'm giving a little review of the Nike Vomero 18. So I have now run 300 miles in these shoes. So today I'm going to give a little bit of an overview of what these shoes are for. I'm going to talk about my experience running in these shoes. I'm going to cover the durability of these shoes, which I think is very important. Every pair of shoes I buy, I want to get the absolute most out of those shoes, the most bang for my buck. And then finally, I'm going to give you a rating based on my proprietary, highly researched, highly scientific 3-tier system for running shoe ratings. Let's dive into it. So first off, a little background on the Nike Vomero 18. If you're not familiar, this is a totally redesigned version of the Vomeros. I've actually never run in a Vomero before. They never really piqued my interest, but the redesign did catch my eye. I am someone who prefers more of a max cushion, higher stack height shoe, and that's what this shoe appeared to be when I first saw them announced and saw some of the pictures of them. So I was very excited about this shoe. I've been kind of looking for a replacement of the Nike Invincibles and have yet to find it. So I was very optimistic that this shoe might fit the bill, maybe. We'll see. So I bought them with my own money, and I have now run 300 miles in these shoes. So yes, these shoes do have a decent stack height. I will put that right here on the screen so you know what it is, because I can't exactly remember what the stack height is, but the bottom of the midsole foam is React X. The top is Zoom X. React X is Nike's like more durable stability type of foam, and then Zoom X is the softer cushioned foam, the kind of foam you get in the Alpha Flies and the Vapor Flies. That's Nike's high-tech foam. So it's an interesting mix of both of these foams. My goal with this shoe was A, to run 300 miles in these, and B, to do my easy runs. I wanted an easy run shoe that could get me through my marathon training, which for reference, my easy run is somewhere between 8 and 9 minute miles. That's a majority of what I was going to use these shoes for, and a majority of what I did end up using these shoes for. So as soon as I put these shoes on, they feel awesome. They are a fantastic shoe. They're super cushioned. The upper is fantastic. There's a lot of padding and cushioning to make your feet feel nice and cozy. Are they the most breathable shoe in the world? No. I personally don't think too many shoes at all are very breathable. This one is especially not breathable, but you know, it was easy miles. I did my training in the winter, so I didn't really notice like super sweaty feet anyway. But they're very, very comfortable. I would say this is a great walking shoe. So even if you don't want to run, I would recommend this as a walking shoe. I didn't have any issues with heel slip. I do like the heel pull tab here. I'm a big fan of that. Some people don't like the way it looks, but I think it's a super practical feature. Pretty standard shoe. I will say the only colorway that was available when I first got these shoes was this one. I really like the design. I don't love this color combo, but I do like a lot of the other colorways that have come out. So I think it's a very good looking shoe, Ohio State colors aside. So my experience actually running in this, like I said, I was training for a marathon when I did a majority of the miles in this shoe, and I did my easy runs. I think this is a fantastic easy run shoe. It is not a slow shoe, like a recovery shoe. I think about the New Balance More V5, or even like the Brooks Glycerin Max. Those shoes are like, they're lumbering. They're really soft. They have a ton of foam, but they're really only designed for purely recovery or easy miles. These shoes, because I think the combination of the Zoom X foam, so you get that lightweight cushioning, but also the React X foam, so you get a little bit of stability, a little bit of firmness, you can pick up the pace just a little bit. When I say pick up the pace, I mean, I did a couple runs, closer to 7 minute miles. Anything faster than that, personally, I would run in a different shoe, but they can pick up the pace just a little bit. So there is a little more versatility than like a traditional max cushion shoe or a recovery type of shoe. I think of it more along the lines of a slower daily trainer with a little more cushioning. And now that every brand has 7 million different types of shoes, you can get very specific with what you use each shoe for. And like I said, faster, easy runs maybe is the sweet spot for these type of shoes. Now I am a heel striker. I would say these are fine. If you too out there are a heel striker, like the majority of runners, so please don't get in the comments about like, oh, you shouldn't heel strike. I don't care. I heel strike. That's how my body works. And these shoes work for the heel strike. I'll talk a little bit about the wear and tear that maybe the heel strike caused, but I'll get to that in a second. But otherwise, these were fine. Again, lots of cushioning, lots of foam in the midsole are going to keep your feet feeling nice. I think my longest run in these shoes was something like 12 miles, and I didn't experience any kind of like pain or like foot fatigue that you might get if you're running really long distances in a shoe that isn't great for really long distances. Just because I didn't run 20 miles in these shoes doesn't mean I wouldn't run 20 miles in these shoes. I would be fully confident that these would be able to handle that type of distance. I wouldn't take these out for like a speed workout or a tempo run or anything like that. Just not the fastest shoe in the world. So overall, if you were looking for an easier run shoe that can pick the pace up just a little bit, it's just a little more versatile than a slower shoe. I think this is going to be a fantastic fit. I really enjoyed running in these during my marathon training. It handled the miles. It's a kind of shoe that you put on, just feels really comfortable, and you don't totally notice it a whole lot, or at least I didn't notice it when I was running in it. Speaking of noticing a shoe when you're running in it, the Invincible, that is a shoe that I definitely noticed a lot when I had it on my feet. It just felt really fun to run in, is the best way I would describe that shoe. Comparing the first two versions of the Invincible to this shoe, the Invincible is all ZoomX foam, so it's a little softer. The midsole kind of has like almost like a crispy, like crunchy feel to it. Whereas with this shoe, the combination of the React X and the ZoomX foam, it feels maybe a little chunkier underfoot, a little more like a traditional max cushion shoe. Whereas the Invincible, I have never run in anything like that shoe. So if you liked the Invincible, I think you actually will like the Vomero 18s, but I wouldn't consider the Vomero 18s to be the successor to the Invincible 1, 2, or 3. Technically, that is the Vomero Plus, which hasn't come out yet. Stay tuned for my review when I inevitably get my hands on those, but I don't think that this is a direct comparison, but if you enjoy the sort of max cushion Zoom X-ish feel of the Invincibles, I think you'll like the Vomero 18s. So now getting into the durability, this is the most important thing for me. If I'm going to invest money into a pair of shoes, I want to get as many miles as I can out of them. Every pair of shoes I buy, I want to run 300, 400 miles in them if I can. As far as durability goes, I would say the first 50 miles, they felt soft. After 50 miles, they got into a sweet spot of like just a great mix of firmness and softness. So you got to break them in a little bit. And then around 250 miles, they started to feel a little bit dead, and they were really dead after 275 miles. So I think you can easily get 200 miles out of these. You're very likely to get 250 miles out of these, and anything more than that, you're probably going to get some diminishing returns. The shoe now costs $155. The price did go up since these shoes came out. But for $155, I think that's a pretty good amount of mileage for the cost of these shoes. Now let's look at the actual damage. The upper is basically intact. I kick the inside of my ankle occasionally, and I can put a lot of wear and tear on that area. However, these held up pretty well. I don't know if the camera is going to focus. I don't think I have autofocus on, but these held up pretty well. This is a white colorway, so they obviously got very dirty right away. I don't really care about that, but they are going to suck up a lot of dirt and get discolored pretty quickly if you get a white pair of running shoes, obviously. The midsole is still in great shape. There's no cracks. There's no chunks missing. I've had that happen with the ZoomX, like pure ZoomX foam shoes. Everything is great. There's just a little bit of wrinkling, but no actual damage. Let's talk about the outsole. So like I said, I'm a heel striker. The most wear and tear I put on these shoes is in that outside heel area. My biggest criticism of these shoes is the outsole and two specific areas. So Nike is using their like waffle outsole, which is like little nubs. They're called lugs, technical term. I call them nubs, but it's the outsole material. I don't like that for a road running shoe. It's fine for a trail shoe when you need a lot of grip on the dirt. But for a road running shoe, those nubs get worn off right away, and then you get right to like flat rubber on the outsole, and then very quickly after that, you wear through the rubber and you get to the midsole. On the bottom, that's that React X foam. I think I broke through the outsole rubber around 120 miles. That was the first time that midsole poked through the rubber. It's pretty soft rubber. So that is by far the least durable portion of this shoe. The front, the forefoot where I'm pushing off, that got flattened out pretty quick. I didn't break through that rubber, so maybe if you have like a perfect stride and you're landing and pushing off on your forefoot, these will last a little bit longer. But if you're a heel striker or a midfoot striker, you're probably going to wear down that back heel area pretty quickly. So that was by far the most disappointing part. But again, I was able to run in them for 300 miles without major issues happening. Nothing was like falling apart or actually breaking. I just wore through that outsole rubber pretty quickly. So overall, I'm a big fan of these shoes. I've been looking for like an easy run shoe for a while. Basically, since the Invincible 2s, I haven't found anything that I really, really like. I think I really, really like the Vomero 18s. So I would recommend these. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have a 3-tier proprietary, highly researched, highly scientific system for rating shoes. The first tier is trash 'em, which maybe I run 2 or 3 times in a pair of shoes and they're so bad that I never run in them again. There is keep 'em, which means I run in a pair of shoes and I like them enough to run until I can't anymore in those shoes, but I'm probably not going to buy them again. And then my third tier, the golden tier, the highest level, the highest honor a running shoe can receive from the Fresh Brew Run Club is buy them again. And yes, these are a buy them again. And literally, my money is where my mouth is. I did buy another pair, a much more exciting colorway of the Vomero 18. So I put these on. I feel faster than I do in this. Again, the only colorway available when I purchased these shoes. I did buy another pair. So I really like the Vomero 18s. Like I said, if you like the Invincibles, if you like a max cushion shoe, but you want to get just a little bit more speed out of them than a traditional like slow recovery run shoe, the Vomeros are a great option. If maybe you like the Nike Pegasus, but you say, hey, you know what? It'd be nice if the Pegasus had more cushioning. Vomero 18s might be a good option for you. So overall, very happy with the Vomeros. I bought another pair, so I'm excited to run another 300 miles in these. And then hopefully the Nike Vomero Plus will come out sometime in August or early September, and I'll give those a whirl, so subscribe so you don't miss those reviews, those videos that I'll make about that shoe. But that'll be the video for today. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Have you run in these shoes? Do you like them? Do you not like them? I got a lot of comments on my initial video from people that said they love these shoes, and I got some comments from people that said they really did not like these shoes at all. So let me know what you think in the comments. Just keep in mind, different shoes feel different on different people's feet. So what works for me might not necessarily work for you. So just be a little nicer in the comments, please. That's my only ask. Anyway, that'll be it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon.